Thanks for joining us. We are now joined today by Ebru Today's political correspondent Kyle Schmoyer to talk about the Arizona debates. Kyle, boil it down for us. What happened last night?
No, absolutely. I mean, it was an interesting debate. I mean, there were some fireworks between Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum sitting right next to each other. This is the first time out of all these debates that we saw all the candidates sitting down next to each other. But, you know, for the most part, a lot of people believe that it was Mitt Romney and Newt Gingrich who had the best debates out of them. Some people saying that maybe the spotlight being there close to the center, the guy everybody was focusing on in Rick Santorum, that he didn't come out and make the blows that he may have wanted to or thought about making, got a little bit too much into the policy of working in Washington.
Right, very wonky.
It did. He became, and he's talking a lot about, well, you know, this is what we do in Washington and we work with people and come up with compromises. It seemed not to go over well with the folks in the audience there in Arizona. However, you could tell right from the beginning, even the introduction, that the folks there in Arizona, that it was a pro-Mitt Romney crowd there.
You've been covering this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Who needed to do the best last night?
I think two things. Last night, I think that Rick Santorum had to show that he was worthy of being a front runner right now, and a lot of the analysts after the debate saying that maybe he fell short of that last night. Also, Newt Gingrich, he had to show that he could get back into this and land some punches himself. People think that he did. The question is, outside of the next couple states coming up and him probably getting a win in Georgia on Super Tuesday, where else is he going to find a win over this time? A lot of people saying it might not be there for him.
You know, there were a lot of questions last night. Apparently, Google had hits for the word earmark up 2,300%.
Wow.
So please explain, what is an earmark?
I mean, to understand an
I
earmark...
guess Rick Santorum was the one who was
Yeah, I mean,
that, right?
if you boil it down, an earmark, all the congressmen, both the House of Representatives and the senators, when they're working on different bills there, of course, they represent states. For the congressmen, they specifically represent a district within that state. They want to bring stuff back to that state. The senators want to be able to bring pet projects back as well. It happens all the time. They want to add to certain bills, earmarks, kind of, you know, stick it onto the bills, certain things that they know they can bring back to their state to say, hey, look what I brought you. Right. Keep voting me in time and time again.
So they'll have a major bill on some big national thing, and then in the end, they'll stick a little stipulation there, and part of that will be for this little project.
And what no one really likes about it is that sometimes the legislation, the big legislation that's being passed, has nothing to do with those small little earmarks that are in. And then you're kind of left in a catch-22 situation. Do I vote for this or don't I? I don't agree with that earmark, or I want that earmark, and so I'll agree to do that. It's what, you know, a lot of these senators and representatives find themselves in, and I think that's what Senator Santorum was trying to get at last night, but for a lot of people, it just went way too far into the minutia of Washington.
Well, didn't he mention something about a bridge to nowhere? Being an earmark? That was another reason the word came up?
Mitt Romney did. Mitt Romney said, hey, you voted for the bridge to nowhere. And of course, that was an earmark tacked on to something. And he says, look, I have to do sometimes what I have to do there in Washington.
Oh, so maybe that's where we get into his educational explanation, if you will, of how Washington works.
Right, right. Which, you know, at the end of the day, with a lot of people around the country saying they want somebody that's not connected to Washington right now, I mean, look how low their poll numbers are, you know, in Congress. That didn't go over that well with people last night.
Coming out of last night, are Ron Paul and Newt Gingrich still in this?
You know what? Ron Paul's going to stick it out, I think, for the long haul. As you could tell, he still has his supporters. He has people that are going to come out to vote for him. The question is going to continue to be, does he ever get over that 15 to 20%? I heard him asked in an interview after the debate last night on CNN. He was asked this question. You know, you're going to have to win a state at some point. And they asked him, are you hopeful? He said, that would be nice. You know? And it's like, okay, you know, you have to get up with something. Newt Gingrich, I mean, outside of Georgia, the questions are, where else might he win here along the way? I mean, but you saw he is a fighter. He kind of returned to his same debate-type stature last night. So, but really right now going forward, it looks like it's a two-man race for at least the immediate future between Santorum and Mitt Romney.
Final question to you. Your pick is?
For?
Who are you going to guess that's going to win?
Which one?
Exactly. All right. Do you notice the political answer? Kyle, I'm impressed. You're hanging out with those politicians a lot.
Yeah, well.
Thanks so much, Kyle Schmoyer.